I have achieved Grand Champ in every single ranked playlist. 2s, 3s, the 6th level of hell, and not those ones. Yet, despite being one single game away, I have never hit 1v1 Grand Champ. Thanks, Ocelon. So, this is the story of my final journey. My final attempt to reach that ever elusive rank that has always seemingly been beyond me. All the highs, come on! All the lows, and the many, many, many car changes. This is another Rocket League Road to Grand Champ series. Before our tale begins, we already had a problem. You see, I have barely played Rocket League since the last RLCS season started, devoting the majority of my time to replay analysis. So in the first game of my placement, I wasn't expecting much, which is good because I delivered even less. Now he's back to being aggressive and I lost that challenge somehow. And he's left the ball. And I've missed the ball. Huh. And yeah, sure. And I've just set him up. And I've lost. Game 2 threatened to be just as bad, but thanks to my opponent thinking I was an RLCS player, and not an analyst, he was swept aside with minimal difficulty. We then progressed to the map that I definitely do the voiceover for, where I threw away a 2-goal lead to lose in the dumbest way possible. Throw up the lost screen, switch cars again, and then throw away a 4-goal lead this time. Fun fact, Northern Lion has 1,300 videos of him playing the Binding of Isaac, and if I kept playing like this, I was gonna make that number look like a speck of dust, compared to the mountains of videos I would need to release to finally hit Grand Champ. Okay, cool head back on. Now, my next match was a rematch against the same guy who had just hurt my soul, and this time he was coming to destroy it. It wasn't until the Veloce Esports Twitch account explained to someone how I just so happened to recently bottle a 4-goal lead that the fire finally came back. If this guy was going to try and destroy my soul, I was going to go full Shang Tsung and take his. With my marvelous kickoff ability, I already had one back. And then 20 seconds later, I used my super secret hit the other car very hard technique, and now it was within 2. For about 20 seconds. Not all comebacks are perfect. And of course, I blame this one on the amount of sweat coming from my hand, causing my controller to temporarily stop working. But after giving it a quick shake, we were back in action. Then, boom! We're within 1. Time to make the final, and we're up by 1. At this point, he was all done. His soul belonged to me. Your soul is mine. So, to add insult to injury, I scored the dumbest goal ever seen on EU servers. I told you my standards were low right now. But hey, at least for the time being, the series was saved. Of course, that means I lost my next game. Rocket League is such a bloody hard game to be consistent at the best of times. But ones just amplifies it. 1 minute, you're pulling off incredibly sick plays, by my standards, and the next, you're flopping around like a Magikarp. It is so incredibly frustrating. Even going through this footage, there's so many plays that make me think, yes, but so many other plays that make me think, no. But that's the beauty of this game. It's because of this that when you do actually go on one of those incredibly rare streaks where you're tearing defenses apart, it feels oh so good. So when I found myself sitting at 4-4 in my placements, desperate to get to 6-4 and have a winning start to this series, I needed one of those rare streaks of form to finally stop playing like an idiot, push myself to 6-4, and save this series. This was the worst performance yet. Just like the previous game, I had started poorly. But unlike the previous game where I rallied, I instead decided to get even worse. Now, I could use my lengthy layoff as an excuse, but honestly, this was all me. And I certainly wasn't being helped by me constantly tinkering with cars and camera settings after every single loss. What's that? I just put a shot on you that was tame with a woodland mouse, and you just so happened to turn around and score on me? Well, we know what to blame them. That's right, the car! Now, it might sound like I'm angry, and to be honest, I am. This was a horrific game, but it's a sort of horrific game that you need. The sort of horrific game that makes you realize that what you've been doing to this point is wrong, and that I needed to make a change. Or in my case, change less often. So, I found the most basic car, I put on the most basic settings, and I was looking for some basic wins. At this point, we were now 4 and 5. There was no chance for us to go positive in our placements. This next match was all about scraping whatever dignity I had left and trying to salvage it. The game got started and I immediately knew something had improved. How? Well, I hit an open net. Then the impossible happened. I actually managed to score a second open net. Wow! But if you thought I was going to make this easy on myself, then you would be incorrect. He got 2 back, but with Messi-esque dribbling skills, I was able to get ahead again. I honestly think that one of us might have been taking this more seriously than the other. Bloody tryhard. After doing, well, this to my car, he was back up to 3 each. And then I was losing. Incredible. Staring down the barrel of a 4-6 to start off this series, I pulled out the big plays, which didn't work. So I pulled out lesser plays, which did. Can't mess up the flick if you don't actually flick. We hurtled towards the final few seconds of the game, and with only one more play left for me, I went for exactly what had worked previously, but this time it did work, so I'm not really in too much of a problem. Hey, we got 5-5. Woo! This is probably the happiest I've ever been to be completely average. And with C2 secured... Wait, C2? No. We are not ending this episode at C2. So whilst I quickly go and collect myself some ranked points, let's hear a word from our sponsor. Me! Want to be popular? Want to be where all the cool kids are? Well, you can come and watch the 143rd most watched stream in Rocket League. Okay. I don't know how to do that, though. Just let me... I'll sell it so... Just let me... We have emotes. We have a guy. We have... gameplay. Look, have you seen it? But most importantly, we have a loving and welcoming community. So be sure to head over to twitch.tv/Callum the Shogun, and you can join the Yeet Fleet today. Just don't name that, isn't it? Alright, points secured and C3 game is up next. Oh, this isn't snow. No. This is the ashes of my enemies. We immediately began throwing our best shots at each other, with me catching him first after a somewhat successful Cookzip pinch. He then countered in the most devastating way I've ever seen. Not the goal, but the goal explosion. I then countered his counter with my special ability, sunglasses. Unfortunately, these sunglasses had one detrimental side effect. I look like a prat. Then I lost my lead and then started to lose the game, but mostly because I looked like a prat. Then, in the final minute, with me unable to control the ball in the corner, disaster struck as he launched the ball downfield to put himself up by 1. Despite my best efforts to set up a shot, I simply couldn't break him down. C3 would have to wait for a different day. Ridiculous to try and break him down. Alright, we're taking... Nah, no one question it. And question it we would not. With confirmation that he was definitely bottling, I pulled out the flick. Come on! I had done it. Despite playing through the entire session with the same amount of smarts as your average Scooby-Doo villain, I had finally made it to C3. And Grand Champ was pretty far away, but hey, you know, we're practicing. We'll be pretty good for the next one. I hope. Subscribe, please.